Automakers are going all in on EVs, and Kia is no exception, of course. We are here at the New York International Auto Show with the all-new Kia EV9. Welcome to Out Motorsports, the channel for cars as you are. My name is Jake. Let's talk all about what this Kia EV9 is, take a full exterior tour and interior tour, and go from there. So, Kia EV9, let's first talk about the size of this thing, because I don't know if you can really tell from the photos and everything that have gone on so far, but this is roughly Telluride-sized and shaped. So that's to say, it is about that length, and it is a true three-row crossover. So we'll get inside in just a second, but the third row is fairly spacious. Now, as far as drivetrains, we do have some details. There will, of course, be a single motor and a dual motor variant of the EV9, and they have two different battery sizes to go with that as well. Now, the nice thing here is that Kia has given this a 5,000-pound tow capacity, so despite EVs not being the best for long-distance towing, just with range issues from having to drag something through the air, you will be able to tow 5,000 pounds if you need to move things for shorter distances. So before we hop into the interior, a couple more quick things. First being the paint. I love this blue color. I just love that Kia and all these other brands are embracing a little more color recently, which is great. This is a great blue, and they're also going to have this blue in a matte finish available. They're doing 3 matte finish options as part of the EV9. The other fun thing going on is the wheels. These are a very interesting kind of 4-spoke black and like matte and glossy combination, which is really neat. And then if we pan over to the other EV9 that's behind us, you've got one of the matte finishes and some really cool chonky like triangle design wheels. These are kind of giving original Range Rover to me, which I actually really adore. And then this is kind of a matte gray, silver, white finish. So nice that they've got some different options. We did see all the paint colors. You're basically going to get the typical black, white, gray, silver, the blue, and I believe they've got some sort of a red. So that's what you're launching with. So with all that, let's hop inside and see what this thing looks like. Okay, so inside the EV9, I keep wanting to say Telluride, which I guess speaks to what the kind of overall vibe is of this car, but inside you've got kind of what we're seeing across the board from the Hyundai Motor Group to say, you know, Kia, Hyundai, Genesis. You've got 2 displays here that are linked by a single piece. So you're gonna have your main gauge cluster here and infotainment over here. You do have a physical volume control right here and some hard buttons for climate control. You've got dual zone climate in this particular model. And then given this is an EV, you've got a lot of clever packaging because there's no hump for a drive shaft tunnel or anything going on. So looking down here, a lot of open space. There's a big spot right here where you could put a bag or a purse. There's some USB charging ports down here. And then you've got a nice big center console with wireless charging, a couple cup holders, and a few more hard controls for your parking, sensors and cameras, and some downhill, what is this? Hill descent control. Yeah, we're just gonna leave that in. We're very real now. Hill descent control and auto brake hold. And then you've got this little doodad right here, which looks to me like a fingerprint sensor for the sake of biometrics and starting the car without a key. This is something that we've seen on the Genesis GV60 so far, and I'm guessing this is what they have done here. Interesting thing that they've done on the steering wheel, there's a button at the bottom here for drive modes, which is pretty typical. There's also a button that says 4-wheel drive lock. Now, 4-wheel drive in an EV is going to be kind of different because it's just a motor on each axle, so I'm curious how that's going to work, but more on that whenever we get to drive one of these. You've also got lots of hard buttons here for your driver assistance bits and cruise control and all of your sound system controls. Now, Kia did add a whole bunch of acronyms and update their driver assistance suite. They've got the most advanced version of that. We'll talk more about that in a later video when we get to drive this thing. The shifter is right here. There is a start button to turn this whole thing on, and then this has been seen in some other Hyundai products, notably the Ioniq 5 and Ioniq 6. So it's a giant twisty dealy. Looking up here, you do have paddles on the steering wheel that will increase or decrease your regen braking. So with all that, let's hop in the back seat. Oh, before we do, one other thing that was interesting, the headrest material in here is like mesh, only on the front seats. And the woman who led all of the interior design efforts and materials choices told me that this was intended to help parents see a little bit better into the second row if they've got kids back there. So I'm not entirely sure. They're not really see-through, but it's certainly a cool touch either way. There's lots of nice materials and textures going on in here. And the seats being two-tone is kind of a nice touch as well. This one is a GT line, so this is going to be a little bit more of a sporty variant, and they will have obviously several trims, several interior color combos, and I believe all of the interiors are some sort of two-tone, if you will, based on what I saw at the design reveal. So let's hop in the back seat and see how big this thing is. So we're in the second row, and who is calling me? Okay. Rude, I'm filming. We're in the second row. This is gonna be probably the nicest place to be. You do have manually operated sunshades here. And then again, this being the GT line, this is one of the higher trims, if not the highest. The second row seats are both heated and ventilated, which is pretty cool. They are also power adjustable, which is lovely with these captain's chairs. And the fun thing is, these have the same adjustable footrests. Does not go back any farther. What? Okay, well, I don't know how this is gonna go, but in theory, this can all recline to be very, very comfortable. Kia debuted a similar feature on the Carnival minivan, which is actually very, very nice and relaxation focused if you have these sorts of seats. So those are really cool. This center console looks like it also will slide in and out. So you've got a gigantic storage space here. I don't know how to make it. I don't want to break it, but anyway, this should go in and out too. So these are comfy. The armrests ratchet like a Range Rover. That's pretty nice. Plenty of headroom here. There's a gigantic sunroof with a power-operated sunshade, and then you've got rear seat climate controls up here on the ceiling with a bunch of vents, which is also great. So this should be a pretty comfy road tripper. But let's see how the third row is, because that is always what you care about when you've got a three-row SUV. Can you actually put someone my height back there? I can't figure out how to close this, so I'm gonna look very awkward crawling over it. Ugh, okay. All right, well, this seat is a little too far back. I don't have a ton of leg room here. Let's try this side. Okay, this is better. So if the second row is in a better spot, that's easy. This is just a two-seat third row, which is smart because it's not really wide enough for three people back here. But I have tons of headroom. I'm 6'1", and I could absolutely sit back here and be happy about it. I would probably put my feet more like this. You're offset from the second row. But two big cup holders. You've got a USB-C charging port. You've got some vents back here. You've got reading lights. This is absolutely a third row that adults will fit in and be happy to sit in. Mom's getting rained on. Wait. Okay, now we can get out. Remember, you can always get out of a third row of a car with grace. Stuck the landing. This is cute. I can't figure out how to open it. There's got to be a button. There's the button. It's a nice power hatch. So here is your cargo space, which is, fine for a three-row. This is not huge. This is, like I said, Telluride-sized. It's not going to be like a Suburban, so you're not going to have a ton of space, but generally pretty good. That is your interior tour of the EV9. Of course, we cannot drive it yet, but when we can, I will bring that to you as well. We love the content. Thank you so much for coming along to the New York Auto Show. Stay tuned. We've got a few more videos coming of some more new cars.